And we're live! Welcome back to Indy Fanatics. It is the IndyCar Show, which is the random show that is basically the name for any live stream that we'll do in between races, essentially, on that one.
Where was outside the tub gone?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
I sound like an angry fan.
over the years of Indy Fanatics, we've had multiple show names, but the ones, I don't know. I don't think any have stuck. I was about to say, the ones that have stuck is us appearing on all of them.
Unfortunately, we haven't changed.
I was going to say, is that confirmed? I suppose what we were going to do is we were going to talk about the Detroit GP. Sorry, we had a family thing on Sunday, so we couldn't live stream the race. We did watch the race, and after qualifying, I think it's safe to say that we both were very pessimistic on what the race would be. But actually, in reality, I think it was a pretty good race.
Yeah.
I think another really good advert for IndyCar, and certainly better than the Spanish GP that was earlier in the day. Although it was probably dominated both races by the guy who was on pole.
Mr. Alex Palou.
Indeed. Go from there. But also, I've seen in the comments, good to see you, John. Good to see you, Scott. Good to see you, Commander Claude. Connor Daly has been let go. That has been the big IndyCar news this week. And is that confirmed that Hunter Ray has jumped in? All I've got to say is I like Connor a lot. But when Stephen told me the news, because he saw it before me, when, oh my God, Connor's gone. Was I surprised? No. And Ryan Hunter-Reay, has been confirmed. Ryan Hunter-Reay was the guy that I said to you, wasn't it? I was like, it makes the sense. He was close to the seat when they still had the US Air Force things. And, if they're looking for a future guy next year, he's the perfect guy to keep them turning over. He's got plenty of experience within the series. He's an American driver, and obviously Ed Carpenter being American himself, I think there's a very patriotic nature to Ed Carpenter Racing Team. I know they've got Renus VK, but I always feel kind of that there is that kind of strong American core to the heart of Ed Carpenter Racing, and it's a good fit for all parties around. I'm sorry Connor couldn't make it work.
Yeah, kicked him out, kept a sponsor.
Yeah,
I think the big thing about the driver was Ed's desperate for better results from that car. It's not a funding issue, because obviously it's still going to be a full-time ride. It's literally just results, and there's probably not many drivers out there that can guarantee you results like a Ryan Hunter-Reay. There's lots of potentials that could get you really good results, like if you backed another VK coming into the series. But if you just needed guaranteed good results, Ryan Hunter-Reay's one of your best bets.
They've already had VK though. They've already got VK. Oh, glad you had a great time in Detroit, Dom. We'll look forward to talking about the race a little bit further. But yeah, I guess it probably makes sense to do Connor up top, as that's the kind of freshest news. But yeah, you're right. Ryan Hunter-Reay, he guarantees no results in racing are guaranteed, but he's the safest bet out there.
Yeah.
Out of the drivers that you can grab right now in IndyCar, Ryan Hunter-Reay has the most experience in the series. He's the most gettable, probably, because he wasn't tired, and I don't believe he was racing too much in any other series. He may have been doing IMSA. I can't remember, but I don't think he had a full-time ride in that, at least. But yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think we.
Sad times for Connor.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he'll probably pick up a 500 seat next year. I'm worried about. I don't think he may get another full-time ride in IndyCar.
No, this was it.
Because he struggled with a full-time ride because he was running part-time rides with Ed Carpenter. And who was the other one?
Carlin.
That was it.
He was running ovals and Carlin in there, and he's had part-time seasons with Dale Coyne and stuff. He's done a lot. Maybe he'll go to NASCAR. I know he's done a bit of truck racing before.
Yes.
On that basis, I can see Connor going down that route. I think his time in IndyCar is up. And It's a shame, but I think with the other personalities coming, one of the main things he brought, I thought, was he was a personality, but I feel he's drifted into the background there a bit as well. Yeah, I don't know. It is a shame, but it feels like he's gone out with a little bit of a whimper. The results haven't been there, and racing is a results game. And if you continually don't kind of put in the levels, and I think, his performance at the Indy 500 was probably his best performance of the year, but still that wasn't a great performance, considering that Rinus VK probably would have been a strong top 10 finish without the incident with Alex Palou in the pits.
Yeah.
And he still came back. I think VK still finished in the top 10 in the end. So that says it all, really, for me. So, yeah.
I think he was 20th in the standings.
Love it from Scott. He lost his mojo when he cut the mullet.
Yes. Where did the mullet go?
Yeah, the mullet. It was just so confident, but it is gone. Yeah, racing is a tough business, and quite frankly, Connor hasn't stood out as anything special.
Yeah.
It's straight, it's direct to the point, and it's true. Is the harsh reality of it.
Yeah.
Right. Should we talk about the race?
Yeah, let's stop being Connor into the ground.
Yeah. Goodbye, Connor.
Every time you looked at me, I was like, I'm ready.
Get being a man while he's down. We're shocking, but not. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Detroit. Well, we know the result. I don't know if we should do a run-by-run kind of play of it. I think we should just probably... I think Detroit brings some more interesting themes, more than anything.
Yeah.
From it. So, first of all, let's go with the big guy, pole sitter and race winner, Alex Palou. He looks like the Alex Palou of 2 years ago.
I think he looks better.
Well, yeah.
And that's kind of a scary prospect.
Yeah.
Alex Palou this year, his consistency has been incredible. He kind of got overlooked in the first part until he won at the Indy Road Course, probably.
Yep.
And then you go, oh, geez, he hasn't finished outside the top 5 in any race.
Yep.
And that's
including the 500 where he went way back.
Won a race and then got pole. And yeah. And now he's won his second race. He looks absolutely immense. It looks inevitable that this could be a Palou championship. And he could, in fact, break the chain of IndyCar seasons, go to the final race. Because you could see him easily walking with it. If he just keeps the consistency now, he's kind of untouchable. With the amount of competition and fluctuations from the other pack, chasing pack, I don't see a standout contender for him this year.
I think this goes back to the last race of last season, Laguna Seca, and he dominated that race.
Was it like 40 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you said, I haven't seen as dominant a performance of that in IndyCar since we've been watching.
Yeah.
For that at least. And Joseph Newgarden, I think, has been the generational talent in IndyCar. And I'm surprised he hasn't got more championships than he's had. But that Indy 500 win is immense. He definitely earns the kind of right for that. And he's got 2 championships under his belt. But Alex Palou, I thought Pato was going to step up this year and be the leader of that pack of Palou, Herta, VK, Pato himself, the Kirkwoods, Malukases. I know they're kind of different because they're not necessarily in the team, although Andretti is now. But I just think this season, Alex Palou has the potential, not to ruin, because IndyCar will always be good, But he has the potential to ruin IndyCar for the next few years of just how good he is. But he won't. He won't. Because if Alex Palou dominates the championship how I think he will, I think he'll be in the McLaren F1 seat.
I think he's getting that F1 seat, yeah. Maybe not next year. They may give Piastri a bit more time. But yeah. Probably 2 years tops, and he was in F1. Which is crazy. It would be great to see, actually. Someone earning... I know we don't really like to draw the comparisons and which one's does it feel like IndyCar's a bit of below F1 or whatnot. But it just shows that IndyCar's being recognised. I'm going to put in this spotlight that IndyCar's being recognised for top driver talent, that Palou would go to F1.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Rather than F1 getting IndyCar's rejects, it's...
Yeah, it's more a positive light. Yeah. Absolutely. He's not there as a token American driver coming from the series. He's going in because, you know what? He's dominating races. His qualifying has now stepped up, which I always thought was a weaker area of him. But the laps he put out at Indy to get pole there, he probably had the car to win the 500, while VK going into him. And he didn't let that get him down. He went and got pole the following weekend and won the race from pole.
Yeah.
And the only man out there on track who could stop him is willpower, but we'll come on to talk about that.
Yeah.
But I'll see if there's any interesting threads in the comments on Palou. Times of the yellows helped avoid a mass carnage potential in the pits. I think so, yeah. With Palou, when he's on, he's on. When he's not, he's not. His consistency has been much better so far this year. I think so. And his consistency is obviously what won him the first championship. Last year, there was just too much going off the track. And there was inner turmoil within that team. But I think Laguna Seca, that victory was also not only one of the most dominant, but it was also the team, I think, putting at peace. There had been a line drawn under it. And they've gone, yeah, that's it. Alex Palou.
Yeah.
He's back. He's our driver. He's a Chip Ganassi driver, and he's going to go from there. Question is, will anyone stop Palou? Joseph Newgarden is the only guy I can see doing it, but also at the same time, Joseph isn't putting in championship winning performances.
It's tough. It's tough. Detroit, obviously, yeah, he wasn't fine at the top. It was his teammate Will Power, the only one really challenging Palou's level. But then you kind of, I would give Newgarden a bit of a free pass at Detroit. He has won 2 races this year. Obviously, Detroit, he had a full week of just doing basically PR and marketing for the series, for Penske. He's the winner. He's doing his victory laps around the country. You're not going to be mentally or probably physically ready for a street race. That's unforgiving.
No, I get that.
But I think he does have potential.
On his ovals, the problem is Joseph Newgarden has looked strongest on the ovals this year, and the 2 super speedways are done.
Yeah.
He's very good at short ovals, so I could see him racking up wins at Iowa and Gateway as well. But on road courses and street courses, Palou's got his thing. And we had that, where was it? Long Beach, where Joseph was the fastest guy on track, got himself to it, and then dropped way off.
Just had a bad stint.
And that is the thing that I think in a championship is the consistency. In Palou, he may go on a bad run, and then it makes things interesting again. But I just don't know where the bad run's going. We joke about it all the time in terms of the nickname, but he does have that very much Scott Dixon-esque things that makes him win championships. He wins. He doesn't win the most races, but he just consistently collects points that gets the job done, that wins your championships.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
In terms of that probably rounds off Alex Palou quite nicely. And yet Scott's right. The season's still not yet halfway.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to kind of go for in there. But exactly, yeah. Joseph Newgarden is about untouchable there.
That's true. We still got it because once it's like done the 500. It's like after the 500 is when you start getting the
championship really ramps up for sure.
Because if we started for the first week of March,
yeah,
and we're not even halfway.
It's mad. It's mad.
So I'm going Palou inevitable. Could be looking inevitable. There is still so much to play for.
Absolutely. He's certainly been the driver of the first half of the season.
Yeah.
For sure. That's what we can go from there. Brother JB, can't wait for the next Indy race. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
It is going to be an absolute cracker.
Road America.
And Road America, what a race Road America is. It's just such... Yeah, that is the highlight of, I think, of the road courses. I think it's my favourite road course of the season for sure. And that certainly will be a great one to go. I think Palou's closest competitor in the race was Will Power, and a good point. I wanted to say his season had kind of not stalled, but hadn't really got going, I'd say, to date. But I feel like this was a performance from Will Power that showed why he won the championship last year. It was good, and bar Scott Dixon tapping him, I think he wins the race.
Yes, one moment that was. Scott Dixon inadvertently saving probably Palou from the switchback from Will Power. Because Palou was running way wide out of the exit of turn 3. It's the turn 3 hairpin. So yeah, it looked like Will probably would have got the switchback and then gone side by side into turn 4. Who knows? Palou may have hanged on, but yeah, what a big moment that was.
I think huge. Yeah. And I don't like to think there, and I don't think Scott would be that type of driver.
But Scott was going for position.
I think he was.
Because Will had also followed, he had been pushed wide by, if I'm not thinking this right, he had been pushed wide by Palou. He was trying to go outside line. Palou then goes deep and pushes Will wide, which does leave the door wide open on the inside for Scott to send it to go for a position himself.
All I'm going to say is it wasn't a very Scott Dixon-esque move.
It was a bit desperate. And that's been a bit harshly, but yeah.
We very, very rarely see Scott Dixon make moves like that, because Scott's in a championship fight as well.
Yeah.
So third was secured for him there. And what did he finish
in?
Sure,
that could have been it. They could have been a big pile up and finished way outside.
Scott isn't the driver that throws it all on the line for race wins.
Yeah.
Scott is the type of driver that maximizes every single performance.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that. That's all I'm going to say. But what I'm going to say...
put that there and walk away.
Absolutely. The positivity I'm going to put is Will Power was fantastic.
Yes.
Would it have been cruel with how dominant Palou had been at times? Yeah, but I think Will, on how he progressed his way through the field, how he run his own race, how he'd kind of managed his stints, and the pace that he showed, probably being the quickest guy out there at times. He was the guy who went on the alternate strategy at the start and made it really work. I think it was a fantastic performance from Will Power, and I was really happy to see it, because that's what we've missed this season from Will Power, a kind of really strong, dominant performance. And he's been one of the best drivers on street courses over the course of IndyCar in the past decade. And he showed why, I think, on Detroit. Even though it was a new track layout, it was a fantastic performance from him.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what he did at the Indy road course. Because he was on a bit of because Barbie had a very good race as well, because he was chasing down Romain Grosjean, wasn't he, for P2. He has found a little bit of form. So yeah, maybe Look, it's so difficult to do back-to-back championships in IndyCar. When do we go back to Dario Franchitti? Is the last double?
Yeah, it was triple, wasn't it? 2009, triple? 10, and 11, I believe it was.
It's difficult. It's super difficult. So, are we expecting Will Power to mount a serious title charge? I think at the start of the season, we were very much like, well, it's whatever season for Will. He won it last year. Keep his head and maybe he'll go again next year.
I would say now, if Will Power continues that vein of form, my top 3 in the championship are going to be Palou, Newgarden and Power.
Yeah.
I don't think Dixon's quite there. Ericsson will have good performances, but fade. But he's probably, he's that Ganassi car, as how it has been since the start of the Aero Screen era, has been so good as a team car, and he's putting it in the performance that it needs to be. We'll come on to Aaron McLaren SP, and we'll come on.
I think that's the whole Aaron story, McLaren, isn't it? All and three of them.
We'll come on to Romain Grosjean as well. But yeah, Power. I'm going to disagree with Scott's comments that I think it was like Power flamed out in the last third. I don't think he did. I think the caution, he would have done it. He'd run his race perfectly. He'd got the runoff on Palou. He'd lined up the move. It was there. And it was something out of his control that went through there. Realistically, I think Palou had the fastest overall race car of the weekend, but Power had just extracted the most out of his car and go from there. Good to see you, Chip. Great to see you in chat as well. It's and good to see from Bulgaria. Good to see you there as well. Just a thought, running in his last or second season, Scott Dixon. Yeah, maybe we'll talk about Scott Dixon a little bit later. Who do you want to go, Pato or Grosjean?
Let's go Grosjean, because I think Aaron McLaren, you could go through all 3.
Okay. All right.
But there's not really much to say on Romain Grosjean. He's kind of in the same vein as Pato, really. We can really talk about them both.
Okay.
It's 2 drivers probably have reached a point that it's just desperation to win the championship or to be consistent winning races. Grosjean's probably winning races. Pato's winning the championship. And they're just making stupid mistakes. We're seeing Grosjean's binned it at Texas, didn't he? He binned it at the 500. Tricky because he's obviously fairly new to ovals. And he's binned it today. Binned it at St. Pete, yeah.
You could argue not.
St. Pete, I would say less on Grosjean. And he's binned it on Detroit. And he was a bit rough with some drivers around Detroit as well. But it kind of made it quite exciting as well. And then you got Pato. Massive chance to win the 500. Takes a risky move. Yes, Ericsson could give more space. But should Pato be sending it on the inside to turn 3? And then he's binned it, was trying to get past car to stay on the lead lap, which obviously is not his fault. They was battling to stay on the lead lap because that's his team.
There were bigger battles to win.
It was kind of that mentality of, I just got to send it now. If I crash, then so what? It's like both of them seem like in a bad place mentally. And it's sad to see, really.
This has been Pato Ward's worst season in IndyCar. He was what I thought erratic, energetic outside of the car, but as soon as he put the crash helmet on and drove the car, he outshone in performance. But I don't know if this is now the consequences of performing at such a high level for Aaron McLaren and not necessarily getting the rewards that he wants for it. He's just having a little bit of a wobble. The question is, can he come back from that wobble? Because Colton Herta very much had this wobble last year.
And now he's like nowhere. Well, he's not nowhere. He's in that in that top pack, but at the back of the top pack. He's not really in the discussion.
Yeah, look. Pato and Grosjean were championship contenders, and I think Detroit. I know we're not halfway through the season, and a lot can change. But for me, Detroit ended Pato and Grosjean as title challengers for this year.
Yeah, they're on the road to recovery.
Yeah, the Indy 500 put them both on the ropes.
Yeah,
but Detroit put the nail in the coffin for me.
The knockout blow.
Yeah, absolutely, and it shows how fine the margins are, but it also shows the mentality of how good you have to be, because it is such a competitive series. This is the crazy thing. You cannot make a mistake in this championship because the drivers are too good. Newgarden and Palou's mentality is too good. They will rack up too many points. And if you make as many mistakes as Pato and Grosjean have done this year, then you've got no hope.
Yeah. It's tough.
I'm sorry.
I'm just confused. Grosjean less so, and that's no offense to Grosjean, but he's always had that a bit of erratic side. But like I said, Pato has been so calm and consistent in the last couple of seasons. It all just seems to be massively unraveling. And maybe there's a part now that's like, well, I've just lost my F1 ride to Alex Palou. My F1 dream is being snatched by the Spaniard,
and I always
absolutely dominating.
And the thing is, I always thought Pato wanted it more than Palou.
Yeah.
It only seems to be quite a recent thing that Palou has gone, you know what, I want to give that a go. Which, I'm not a racing driver. I'm not a professional racing driver. I can't say what I'd want to do in that situation. As a fan of both series, I would want to race in IndyCar all day.
All day.
Will Power recently said the competition in F1 is a joke. In IndyCar it is. I think if you want to prove yourself as a driver, IndyCar is the most competitive series on the planet right now in terms of single-seaters.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you can obviously make arguments from there, but in single-seaters, it is the most competitive and it is the most kind of level playing field for talented drivers that it rewards good performance. Although still, as in the cases of Andretti and Arrow McLaren, if the team lets you down, that eventually, I think, knocks into the driver. We've seen it with Colton Herta. Again, it was Colton Herta. Another had the pace, was driving a fantastic race, and then another issue kind of faulted from in. Grosjean crashing out. Cole Kirkwood, I've got to say, Cole Kirkwood is one to watch out for.
Yeah.
Because he's now starting to become the driver that he was in Indy, the Road to Indy ladder. And next year, he's a serious threat.
He's probably Andretti's biggest hope. And that's saying something with Romain Grosjean and Colton Herta in your roster.
Now, the question is, maybe Grosjean thought, this was his time, because maybe he sees Cole Kirkwood. Is Andretti Autosport Cole Kirkwood's team next year?
Yeesh. Yeah.
Because he's now got Brian, so he's got the best race strategist that Andretti have got on his team, who Colton did have. He's American, so he's a patriotic driver within that. And I think Andretti Autosport have always, backed and liked their American drivers, hence why Colton was supported so well in terms of that. And you know what? On top of those external things, he's a damn good driver. And his mentality, he's won more than Romain Grosjean and Colton Herta in the past few years.
is. I'm just trying to work out if Grosjean would be, if that's on Grosjean's mind, or if he's just desperate for a race win.
Well,
I think it's more the race win, and maybe eventually he'll go, oh, Cole Kirkwood's the team leader now.
Well, yeah. I guess it's that monkey on his back. Cole Kirkwood got that race win before Grosjean.
Yeah, exactly.
And who would have thought that? But, you know, that incredibly dominant performance at Long Beach. And we know in recent years, Andretti Autosport, although since the Aeroscreen era, have overall been pretty poor, I would say, as a team. On street courses, they have a great package.
Yeah.
And Cole Kirkwood is definitely taking advantage of that.
Like Colton Herta was a couple of years ago, and even last year, it's like Kirkwood is now stepping into that. Looks immense on street circuits. Guy got his rear wing taken out at the start of the race. Got a whole new rear wing, and still went on for a top 10.
Yep. Go from there. Hey, great to see you in chat, Lucas. Good to see Carl in chat as well. Pato seems more impatient and seems to have don't care type of attitude this year. Yeah, that is. The only competition is F1 is your teammate. Absolutely. Carl Kirkwood could replace Will Power at Penske when Will Power decides to retire. Yeah, I mean that's the ruthless Andretti streak, isn't it? Because, you know, Penske and Andretti are the two American teams. And if Andretti don't provide Carl Kirkwood the car that's going to win him championships, there's going to be Chip Ganassi and Team Penske who will definitely snap your hand off for Carl Kirkwood, because that guy's an unbeliever. There is a reason why they only let him race at AJ Foyt Racing for 1 year.
Yeah.
Because they knew they would lose him. And I go for now. I think Rogro thought it would be smooth sailing at Andretti Autosport when he did so well with Coyne. Yeah, I think so. It's definitely a much better year overall than last year, even despite the DNFs. I feel like the performances, he's far more competitive and he seems more level-headed. Like the mistakes seem less aggravated. There is some sort of unfortunate circumstances, and he is still very new to oval racing, so I get that on the line. But I think street courses he's always struggled with in his career, and that weakness has shown in his racing this year.
Yeah. I think I overlooked Grosjean's bad luck in the first couple races. I'm now getting to a point I'm worried about the racing. We're not at our halfway mark. As Scott said, there's still we're talking about the whole season's already decided and written.
We have. There is a lot to do. But
the storylines coming from Detroit are, it's all over the place.
But I guess these are kind of my threads. There are still things that were early in the season, say last year. Will Power looked the strongest that he'd ever started an IndyCar season for there, and it kind of carried on through. And Marcus Ericsson also there, although Ericsson did fade into the second half of the season. And as always, Newgarden came on strong and fought it in the second half of the year. But I think there are still kind of early threads to go from there. We'll come on, we'll talk about the Rahal team, Mr. Best Shot 33. Good one to kind of bring up. But I guess round up, we kind of spoke about Andretti as a whole as a team. And you did say Aaron McLaren.
Right. Yeah. Wait, who are you talking about? Andretti or Aaron?
Aaron McLaren. I think it's a good one to go
the battle between Felix and Rossi at the end of the race. Rossi starting another team rivalry? Or is it Felix just being a bit desperate that, oh my God, I'm going to lose my McLaren seat?
I think it's that for Felix.
And Rossi's just like, calm down, dude. You don't have to bash me into every corner.
For me, this is the start. I see the partnership between Arrow, McLaren and Pato breaking down. I think this is maybe the early fractions of that relationship maybe not working out, because there's been too many times of like an Arrow McLaren fault and then Pato's frustration kind of feeding over there. I think it's maybe the beginning of the end for those two. And I see the future of Arrow McLaren with Alexander Rossi. And I think we're starting to get the Alexander Rossi that entered IndyCar come back into it.
Yeah.
And I can see him being the team leader for that team going forward.
Yeah. Felix was super aggressive. And yeah, you're fine for the last podium point. And it was quite fun to watch. But that's your teammate, man.
I think Felix is gone.
They could have so easily ended the race for both of them.
Yeah.
Because those concrete walls, it doesn't take a lot. Like Grosjean's crash, it didn't take a lot for Grosjean just to hit the wall and be out the race.
Here's a twist for you. Rossi and Ferrucci at Aromat. Santucci!
You would love that because he'd have a good car.
I think he probably deserves one. Look, Felix is an interesting one, because I think there's been a little bit of a chat about Marcus Ericsson in terms of, his security within a Chip Ganassi seat, despite an Indy 500, his success at Indy, and go from there. It seems really Marcus Ericsson is more secure, but still, I've got to say, you look at Felix and you look at Marcus within their teams, and now obviously there's three teams that there's three main drivers within the team. You've got Palou, Dixon, and Ericsson at Ganassi, and you've got Rossi, Pato, and Felix at Arrow McLaren. And both the Swedes are the third best drivers in the team.
Yeah. Tough times for Sweden.
So my thing is, the series is getting so competitive, and both Arrow McLaren and Chip have proven to be pretty ruthless in the past there. Are both their seats up for negotiation? I think Marcus is obviously safer than Felix because he's got an Indy 500 win, and Chip to get more Indy 500 wins. Marcus looks a fantastic bet every season at the moment.
I think, yeah. See, my thing as a team owner is, do you necessarily want 3 race winners in your team? Probably not, because what's going to happen is they're going to start fighting each other.
Though I think Penske have that situation.
Yes, true. And that does seem very harmonious within that lot. But then you see Andretti's like the other side, where you have 3 very competitive drivers and they all combust. I say Ericsson's really safe. He's a safe driver. Probably not going to win you a championship.
Will win you races.
Could win you another 500. And he's always going to be in that top 10 to get you some nice points for the team. And he's not going to really start any fights with Palou Dixon because he probably knows his place.
Yeah.
So I think Ericsson's a really nice, safe bet for Chip. They don't need money sponsors of whoever's bringing in.
And I also
he brings in Husky, doesn't he?
I also think Scott Dixon isn't going to be around forever.
Yeah.
And Marcus guarantees more results than other drivers. And he's to have, he either downsizes the team, although Marcus Armstrong is looking very strong in his road courses run out. It'd be interesting to see how he does on ovals when he gets the chance to do that. Penske's is harmonious because drivers know that grass is not greener. Absolutely. They know they're in the historically best team within the series. I know they haven't won championships. Obviously, Power won it last year, but they haven't necessarily won championships and 500s as much in recent times as what the team traditionally have done, but they're still such a strong team year in, year out.
Yeah, get on or get out the series.
Yeah, but yeah, Marcus Ericsson definitely feels the safer one, but I wouldn't be surprised. He's a seat to watch, and it feels wrong to say because I appreciate the step up that Marcus has done, but I think he's one of what Felix I think's gone.
Yeah. I don't have much hope in Felix. He went at Chip, took a step down to McLaren, and I don't see any of the other smaller teams picking him up as he works his way down the ladder.
Well, maybe Ed Carter Racing, if they want a younger full-time driver to go alongside BK.
Possibly, if Ryan Hunter-Reay doesn't work out.
But also within that team, they're probably going to be looking someone who kind of brings sponsorship.
Yep.
And Felix has always had fully paid for seats within the series.
On McLaren. Yeah.
He hasn't really brought much money of himself, and I don't think he's going to bring much money. Yeah, bring much money in outside of that. I don't think sponsors are going to be knocking on the door to get Felix Rosenqvist. But I like him, and he shows. I think the most frustrating thing about Felix Rosenqvist is he shows glimpses of being a very good driver.
Yeah.
Has he got that first race win?
Well, yeah, he's a race winner. And of course, you always bring this up and you always go, has he won a race?
Oh,
this guy.
That race.
Yeah. Yeah, that race. Oh.
Yeah, he does, wasn't it, Road America? Oh, yeah, Chip. How could I forget? But we've got Malukas floating around. We've got Santino Ferrucci floating around.
Lundgaard.
We've got Lundgaard. We've got Callum Ilott floating around. Plus whoever else decides to come into the series. Arrow McLaren, obviously, with their European links. If they decide to do a swap and they put Palou into F1 and move Piastri into IndyCar, then there's every potential on that as well. Connor Daly showed glimpses of being a good driver too. Scott, that's the harsh reality truth.
There we go, yeah. We've seen him get the boot. Felix, probably not mid-season.
No, I think Felix has done enough to see out the season, but I think it was very touch and go whether he was going to race for the team this year. And he hasn't. Again, he could have an amazing second half of the season and really kind of, grab the opportunities with both hands. But the start of the season hasn't been what Felix needs to stay in IndyCar.
Could have cost the team a 500 victory.
Yeah.
If that caution doesn't come out and it goes green to the end, Pato probably wins the race.
Yeah.
And that's just a mistake.
Yeah.
He's gone. For sure. Yeah, he's gone.
No sympathy. He's out.
He's gone.
He's gone. But yeah, okay. Well, let's go. We've been going a good time. It's always good to chat, but
general thoughts on Detroit?
General thoughts on Detroit. Belle Isle's better, but this is Roger Penske's love project. Detroit is his hometown. It's very close to his heart. If there's a man who will make a street race work and make it kind of the changes needed to make it work, it will be Roger Penske. It wasn't as horrific as what I thought it was going to be. Obviously, the thoughts from the drivers and the paddock was that it was going to be worse than Nashville. I think it was better than Nashville. I think it had its tight technical sections. It didn't really provide many overtaking spots, although there were still some good overtaking. It was basically the hairpin.
The turn 3 hairpin provided 90% of the action. Yeah. But that action was pretty good. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And you had some crazy drivers in there like Romain Grosjean just sending it in every corner and bashing people out the way, which is, you could question the driving standards, but it was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. No, it is true for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting one on that. I hear Ericsson is weighing his options because he feels he deserves to be paid instead of bringing money to keep a seat, which is crazy to think that an F1 driver still is paid to play in IndyCar. It is, but up until probably a couple of years ago, up until, it was halfway through the 2021 season that he got a win, funnily enough, in Detroit, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. When Will Power's engine didn't start.
Exactly. That has kind of reignited his career. So he hasn't necessarily done it from there. I was getting pizza years ago and looked to my right at a stoplight. There was Roger in the Ferrari. Amazing, Scott. Amazing. But yeah, I think general thoughts on Detroit, okay. Would I have preferred an oval? Would I have preferred another road course? Yes. But it was okay.
I would give it like a 7 out of 10.
It was better than expected, but it wasn't sensational. Yeah, absolutely.
I like the backdrop. No, I'm just thinking that Chevy building looked a bit like a Jedi temple.
Yeah, I get that.
The four corners.
Yeah, kids almost a little bit. Also, I thought it was a bit of a space shuttle. Could have gone off like one of those floating fortresses in space in like an 80s sci-fi movie.
I was going to link the Jedi Temple to obviously Roger Penske being the Empire and Roger being a Sith Lord. So that links into the Star Wars lore of IndyCar.
Yeah, absolutely. There we go. We've
also spaceship kind of also links in with the Starship.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely does. I like the old Detroit track challenge better. New one is a stop and go kind of track. It does feel that. Also, this race does feel the potential that it could be a crash and carnage fest. It narrowly avoided it.
I think the thing I was probably most people worried about was that the double pit lane. And if we had a caution that fell at the right time, that everyone pitted, it always fell just outside pit windows.
Yeah.
That some people went in and some people just stayed out. If we had double lane, all stop caution, that's red flag.
Yeah.
I don't see a full caution pit stop not entering a red flag.
Yeah. That would be mad. Absolutely. Is VK an option to chip or McLaren? If you asked me 2 seasons ago, I'd say yes.
I think his stock is suffering, right?
I think his stock is suffering, but the 500 still shows what he can do. I think VK for his IndyCar career needs to leave Ed Carpenter Racing very soon.
Yeah.
But the problem is, will an opportunity at a top team come? I know McLaren were sniffing around him, but if I was McLaren, I would dump Felix and I would get Rinus VK in a heartbeat. Yeah, absolutely. Sure. But I don't own a racing team, but we'll see from there. If Palou leaves Chip Ganassi Racing, I pick Ilott to replace him. Could be a very good shout as well. I think Ilott has been very, very good. I think his Indy 500 performance, considering all the things that went around that weekend, was exceptional. I mean, is debating whether he could have entered the race, and I think he ended in like a top 10, or was it just outside the top 10 in the end?
I wouldn't be surprised if it was top 10.
But yeah, I think, and consistently, he has pulled that kind of positions. But Augustus Canapino also has been very impressive in that team.
He's done all right.
They are certainly the small team that are packing a punch, I would say, at the moment.
Canapino won't go anywhere else, though.
No.
He's an Argentinian driving for an Argentinian team.
Absolutely.
Words. I'm not sure I'm saying Argentina right.
Yeah, I've seen my every Belle Isle race. This downtown course is much better. Interesting, Doug. Very interesting. Well, we'll see how it kind of develops and improves over the years. But right, yeah, let's round off. We'll do a last kind of talking team challenge and
talking team challenge.
Talking team challenge.
The new segment to the IndyCar show.
We got asked this earlier in the chat. What do you make of the Rahal team? I know we've kind of touched on it within races, but seeming as we've got a show to kind of properly digest it without being interrupted by that.
Something is fundamentally wrong with their car and they can't fix it mid-season. So it's a proper write-off, and somehow they're going to have to rework their dampers, copy someone else's if they can, because they are horrific, because that car is just slow. They got a incredible youngster in Lundgaard that deserves a better ride than what they're giving him. You got the experience of Graham Rahal, who puts cars maybe not near the podium, but top 10.
Strong. He's a strong top 10 driver.
Yeah, and you got Jack Harvey, who showed so much potential at Meyer-Shank, hasn't got to grips with the car. So you got 3 really good drivers. You got a strong roster. It's not the bad roster. It's just fundamentally something wrong with the car. And they've stuffed it somewhere in their development, in the limited development you can do in IndyCar. You think it's kind of you had one job and someone's mucked it up. Proper write-off season for them.
Yeah. My ones with Rahal Lehman-Lanigan Racing, I can see only Christian Lundgaard being there next season. Although Jack Harvey's qualifying performance at the Indy 500 was enough to earn him respite. I think someone asked us, would Harvey lose his seat mid-season? I think he's got to the end of the year, but I can see there's been stronger rumours growing that Graham himself might leave the team.
Well, leave the sport?
It may be leaving the sport, or he may look into going for someone like Ed Carpenter Racing.
The thing is, they're so weird, is they've had massive investment. They've got a brand new factory, haven't they? Rahal Lehman-Lanigan.
Hey, Jacob.
They have all the components to be a top team, or like a McLaren were, an up and coming team to try and push for the occasional win and podium. Yeah. So I just think something's gone wrong in the development, and I have every faith they can bounce back.
No, I do too.
It looks horrific
because they've put a lot of another thing, but you could maybe argue it's karma. I know there's a lot of Takuma fans out there, and after what he did for Rahal Lehman-Lanigan and how he parted ways with the team,
it's karma.
Is it karma for that?
IndyCar gods did not like that.
The Jack Harvey one is so weird because him and Meyer-Shank's fate seem to have gone both massively downhill since parting ways from each other.
Yep.
And yeah, you're right. Something's gone wrong in the development of that car. Christian Lundgaard is the driving force of that team. But as we spoke about top talent, Jack Harvey often overachieved in a small team with Meyer-Shank Racing. But now, with the amount of talent that is in the series, there are better drivers.
He's in like Felix's situation.
Yeah.
There's a good driver there, but has he missed his chance? So to say, because I'm trying to think of an analogy and it's not going to go well. But you got people like Joseph Newgarden. I'm comparing Joseph Newgarden's obviously one of the best.
Apples and oranges.
But you survive that middle period and you're still in the series and you're still improving. or you either get to that middle period where you're not the youngest, you're not the oldest. But if you don't kick on, you can just lose out and get overtaken by the youngsters.
Absolutely.
That was a waffle.
Look at James Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
Injury. Wow.
All of these guys on their day can produce special things. Harvey showed that in terms of his qualification, what he produced in those 4 laps in the Indy 500. But the key to being the best is to do it on a consistent basis. And if you don't do it on a consistent basis, because this series is now so competitive, it can afford to be ruthless.
Yeah.
Because there are so many good drivers wanting seats within that series.
Yeah, because there's such a big inflow of high talented. Some of the rookies this year, probably not the best. But there is a big inflow and a big attraction to IndyCar at the moment. But yeah, if you don't perform, you may have a good season, but then if you hit average, you're gone.
Absolutely, it's tough.
My Shank Jack Harvey, you go, he's got a long-term career here. Ray or Lanigan Harvey, you're saying he should be out the seat mid-season.
Yeah,
they should do a Ned Carpenter.
Well, it'd be interesting to see. Elio, I don't think will run another full-time season. Do Marshank go back with Harvey?
It'd be nice.
Do they just go back and they give it a try and see if it works out for them?
That's his only hope.
I think so. I think no other team would pick him up. But yeah. Right. Are there any last points you would like us to just give a few comments on? But I think other than that, it's been a very good live stream. We're kind of review, obviously reacting to the kind of daily news, reacting to the Detroit GP in terms of our kind of key thoughts and threads coming from that. I think we'll try and get another IndyCar show in next week for you guys, just so we can have it go from there. But yeah, just happy that so many series have cleared space in the schedules around Le Mans. It's great.
Yeah.
It is brilliant because Le Mans is such a special occasion. The big 3 races, Monaco.
You think everyone would show a bit more respect and free up the Monaco
Indy 500, and they should go from there. But yeah, will you guys stream Road America? I believe we are on track for that, although we may not be, just because I think it's Father's Day over here, so we may be with our dad.
Yes, it'll depend on timings.
It will indeed. Santucci to Mac. That's my hope. Stir the hate cauldron. Look, President of Santino Ferrucci fan club. All the hate.
This is an announcement from the president of the Santucci
President of Santino. All the hate towards Santino is justified, but what also can be justified is the guy is seriously talented. And I wouldn't get in really the kind of conspiracy theories that IndyCar was trying to manipulate Santino Ferrucci winning the 500. If Santino had won the Indy 500, it's because he drove a damn good race. It would be on no other kind of books on that. Joseph Newgarden won, drove a damn good race. If Pato had won, up until that point, obviously, where he crashed out, he driven a damn good race. Marcus Ericsson, same thing. Palou, if he hadn't got out of VK, it was there. But, Ferrucci, the one time his car has been super competitive, he showed that he was fighting up there with the top in the field. That's all I'm saying.
Drop the mic.
What about Le Mans 24 this weekend? I don't think we'll do a Le Mans 24-hour weekend. It's my partner's Haley's kind of birthday weekend, so I think I wouldn't get away with that one.
So we're changing plans.
Whoa! But yeah. Hey, Penske had Santino on call last year.
They did.
There you go. 2 words. Mike Cannon. Absolutely. Mike Cannon's unbelievable. Yeah, because Ben Pedersen was blazing it too. Cheers, Don. Great job today, guys. Thanks. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Chip. Racing doesn't give you many chances. Take them if you get them. Absolutely, Scott. I would say Clem might go to Indy NXT or WEC, but he's not good enough for IndyCar. Absolutely. I'm sure we'll discuss in kind of come and see Clem Novalak, but don't worry about that.
Yeah, Novalak.
In terms of it. But guys, it's been a fantastic stream. Hope you've enjoyed it. Lots of kind of good discussion, I think. And go from there. But if you're new around here or haven't done so already, what can they do?
They can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it. But for now, you Indy fans, keep racing.